Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bronco Garage. I'm Monster Mike, and today we're working on this 1973 Ford Bronco, and we're going to show you how to install a new power booster and bracket. First thing we're going to do before we take anything apart is we're going to measure our pedal height. Then we're going to disconnect the brake pedal from the push rod. And from there, we're going to start taking the master cylinder off, then the power booster, and then the booster bracket. Once that stuff is all out of the way, we can start putting the new stuff on. All right, so I'm pulling up the carpet on this Bronco so I can get to the floorboard. I want to be able to measure the pedal height before I remove the push rod from the pedal. I'm looking for around 7 inches from the floorboard to the very front edge of the pedal. So right here, we're just a little above that. Your pedal and your brake light switch all is going to come off together at the same time. Go ahead and remove them and then let them dangle freely. All right, so next I'm going to remove the master cylinder. Now, James Duff provides these little caps. It can actually plug the lines off as you remove the parts so you don't get brake fluid all over the place. So next, you're going to disconnect your brake booster from your booster bracket. Now, first you're going to disconnect the brake booster line right here. That's probably one of the easiest things to take off. And then from there, there's 4 bolts that hold the booster to the bracket. Now, you can take all this off as one piece, but it does come to you in 2 pieces in the Monster Disc Brake Kit. There's a jam nut that holds the rod on the back side of the booster to the clevis. You're just going to loosen the jam nut, and then you're simply going to turn the booster like this until it threads off of the clevis. And once that's off, then you can start working on getting your booster bracket off. All right, so I've got the power booster assembly out of the way, and I've got all the old proportioning valve, metering valve stuff that was on the truck off, and it's time to install the new James Duff proportioning valve. I've actually already installed the fittings that come in the brake line kit, and also there's a fitting on the back side, and then there's 2 different ways you can route the front hard brake line, either up, out, or down below. You'll see when this is hung off the proportioning valve bracket that you have room to route it either way. So big thing here is you want to remove this brake light warning switch, and you want to go ahead and put in your plug. You're going to need this before you start bleeding the system so you don't trip the pin or damage the proportioning valve. So tighten up all your fittings, put the plug in place, mount your bracket first to the frame. Then once you have the bracket mounted, you will then mount the proportioning valve to it. As you can see, the nuts are already welded to the back of the bracket. Also keep in mind that there are install instructions for the proportioning valve provided by James Duff. There's 2 things you can do if you're uncomfortable with how close it is to your aftermarket headers. You can bend the bracket if you'd like and then repaint it and just bend it outwards a little ways. Or you can get some header wrap. This lava wrap by Heat Shield Products is pretty nice and works really well. So you can use that. Also, this is a product that you can buy from James Duff. Some of you are running a brake light warning switch wire, which the new one is provided with the new proportioning valve. You'll just have to make sure that you put that in. All right, so you're about to install your power brake booster bracket, and all the hardware that you need is already on the vehicle, these 4 bolts. Keep these 2 bolts in the center attached. You won't need to remove those. But if you don't have this hardware already, you're going to have to source it at your local hardware store. They don't come with the kit, so just remember they're 3/8 by 16 and about 1.5 inches long. When you get your new power brake booster bracket, make sure that you check that all the cotter pins inside are twisted properly so that they're safe. And also this bolt, this main bolt that holds this whole assembly in place, notice here how it's just lightly attached. You're gonna have to go ahead and tighten that all the way. Don't over tighten it, and you'll know if you have, if this can't move, and you want that to move freely. All right, before you mount your booster bracket to the firewall, you're gonna wanna adjust your brake pedal rod so it is the correct length. Now, here's a cheat for you. If you've already got a booster bracket in place, you can just measure from here to here as long as your rod is pushed all the way forward, then can just match the rod length of your old booster bracket. Now, if you don't have that in place, then what you're gonna wanna do is loosen this all up by removing this boot. You can literally just pop the boot out, and then there's a jam nut behind it. Loosen the jam nut, install the booster bracket, then you'll have your pedal height, and then you'll just go ahead and tighten up the jam nut and then slide the boot back in place. Okay, so the last thing you want to do is make sure that the pedal is adjusted to the proper height. The height that you already had, or at least 7 inches after you push down and feel that preload. Measure should be around 7 inches from the floor pan to the bottom of the pedal without the pad on. Then you're good to go. Now, if you're not, then you want to make sure that you adjust the rod from the back side of your booster bracket. All right, so that includes our brake booster install, and there's a ton of other great videos that are totally involved with all of this, all this braking that we're doing. So please make sure that you check those out as well, and don't forget to leave a comment, and definitely don't forget to subscribe because we got a ton more content coming down the list. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you next time.